Caldera's here. So Warzone Season 1, Vanguard Season 1 upcoming here, but today we got some early access footage of gameplay for Caldera. Today I want to run down my thoughts, some big changes you should be aware of, and a couple of things in between. So that said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Caldera so far? Are you liking some of these changes? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, all things Vanguard. Season 1 is here, and we have so much you do not want to miss, so make sure you stick it here on the channel. And of course, there's going to be a ton of stuff talking Warzone over the course of the next coming weeks, things you should definitely be aware of. So hit that subscribe button if you guys are a part of that nearly 70% of viewers that are not subscribed. If you'd like to stay informed with everything here and help us out on the road to 500,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you in the community. But that said, let's take a look at Caldera and Warzone Pacific. So yesterday, the Call of Duty team allowed myself and a bunch of other creators to have a little bit of early access, about like 2 hours or so like 3 to 5 games of Warzone Pacific. We got to see the map in and out, play a little bit on it, and see just how it'll feel for the next upcoming year or so. Today, I wanted to share with you my thoughts here on everything and some things I think you should know going into it now, having firsthand experience, and some things that definitely you should keep an eye out for. So that said, let's start at the very beginning here. What really is different fundamentally in Warzone Pacific versus Warzone that we had as of, well, 24 hours ago in this past year and 8 to 9 months? One of the big things here that was mentioned within Warzone Pacific that was ambiguously described was that we'll be sharing the Vanguard engine, and to a degree that is true. Some of the artwork and things may look similar to how Vanguard does, but I think the majority of the engine still works almost exactly the same. The movement seemed to be exactly the same. Your slide canceling going to be exactly the same, it seems like. Your perks, unfortunately for people like me that maybe hoped for some perk changes like Ghost to be the Vanguard version of Ghost rather than the Modern Warfare version, these again are exactly the same. The art direction has a few things changed here, like your caches are changed, your loadout drop is a little bit different in its looks, the syringe that you end up using for your self-revive and reviving teammates is a little bit different as well, thematically then tuned to World War II, but that's some stuff that's a little bit more minor. And speaking of loadouts, they now change where you cannot buy one until they come in from the loadout event first and foremost. So that makes the first minute and a half, 2 minutes or so, whatever the case may be, it makes it a little bit more tense. It makes it a little bit more truly battle royale. Drop in and find whatever you can, and sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. I know that my squad got stuck here in one of our 4 to 5 games where we didn't have anything great off the rip. A couple of them died and then came back and again had nothing really outside of that. So that is something that you definitely got to be aware of, but it also does make your sort of utility cash flow pretty nice to work with because you're not spending 10,000 in-game right up front. A lot of the times I was like, wow, we actually came away with a couple of UAVs and we don't even have our loadout yet. And that makes sense because you're not spending 10,000 collectively to end up getting your weapons right out of the gate. Now, as for weaponry, talking about that, naturally a lot of us in this capture session were using the new Vanguard weapons. We'll have a full video breaking down absolutely everything tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about what I think are the 5 weapons you should absolutely be using. There are some that absolutely stand out, but today in this video I want to talk about my first thoughts really first and foremost. But a lot of the weapons we tried kind of seemed hit or miss. Some weapons were insane of the Vanguard weaponry, and others, well, I don't really plan on touching them for a little while. So that's something you might want to try out, as many weapons as possible, find those that feel good to you. But in the overall balance of things, I don't remember if we played anything outside of Vanguard Royale and Vanguard Resurgence to which you had the ability to play with things like your C-58 or your OTS from Cold War and other weapons from Modern Warfare. So directly comparing them, I don't think that we've had that chance just yet. We'll be jumping in fresh just like you guys are as of tomorrow when the map goes live. But that's something to consider, that there are definitely some Vanguard weapons that do stand out. Again, breaking all those down soon. One thing that I absolutely loved, and I'm glad it wasn't really a troll here from the sort of promo and marketing material we got for Caldera, the geo for the world is much better in terms of scaling. You can actually climb things, and I'm not talking like running up and being able to jump and pull yourself up. I'm talking there are actually parts of the map where it's built for cliff faces to just simply tap your jump or mantle button, whatever you have it bound to, and it will just pull you up instead of walking right up. So it's pretty cool in that regard, where it makes it a lot easier to scale larger surfaces and larger areas that are much more inclined. So I'm all for that change. Water also is something that was changed that allows you to interact with it a little bit. You're still not able to go off into the distance and sort of jump into water, but for the most part, you'll see that the map is littered with different streams, little bits of pools of water, and of course, just like small coves that have a ton of water around them as well. You can make your way through by walking through it all, but it doesn't let you prone or slide even in. So if you're somebody that's trying to get away from an enemy, just be careful because you're not going to be able to slide cancel through that water. One other cool smaller detail is your attack map is now colorized, so it gives it a little bit more life as opposed to just the black and white we saw within Verdansk. One big thing that honestly I wish that I had an answer here to, but the event was on PC where this is already a feature, is an FOV slider. Right now, there still is zero information on if it's coming or if it isn't coming, so I guess within the next 24 to 36 hours, we will know for sure here whenever people start to jump into the console versions of Caldera and Warzone, if there's going to be that update that does in fact either bring us an FOV slider for console or if it doesn't. So unfortunately, I don't have that answer. I would love to provide you with one, but it's just not there right now. Outside of that, I want to finally talk about the sort of engine, if you want to call it that even, by talking about the Metaverse versus the Vanguard universe. Metaverse is going to be your everything. Modern Warfare, Cold War, and Vanguard. Everything all playable on Caldera. But the Vanguard universe, where we saw a lot of our gameplay here with this with Vanguard Royale, Vanguard Resurgence, that is stuff that is specific to Vanguard. And then also we'll have things like your planes, your anti-air turrets, your squad transport, your utility trucks, and other anti-air vehicles. So there's a lot of things that are made specifically for the Vanguard modes, but also at the same time, you could see some other things bleed over into the Metaverse version of that. But things like your fighter planes, probably not so much. And talking about the planes a little bit, again, restricted right now solely to Vanguard Royale and Vanguard Resurgence, this has a couple of quirks that I definitely found interesting. The planes ping players and vehicles automatically, so you'll see it from the sky as well, which again, not entirely sure that I quite like. So hopefully those do stick just to those specific Vanguard LTMs, but we'll see how everything goes from that. One thing that I also noticed in regards to sort of playing through everything is that it seemed like with some of these new events added in game, some of the existing ones were also changed. Of course, we have Resurgence and Restock coming in as sort of regulars here for what we see within new Warzone events in game, but things like the fire sale, I don't know if it was just because we were playing in either Vanguard Royale or Vanguard Resurgence, but the fire sale normally lasts 60 seconds if I'm not mistaken. In our playthroughs, it lasted 180 seconds or 3 full minutes, which is a huge change to that and makes it a lot more accessible for trying to get utility and, again, a much larger window that you can do so and come back to get even more. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. We also saw that there were new contracts in play, like the big game contract and the top secret contract. The top secret contract turns into any of the contracts on the map. You just don't know what it is until you pick it up. That's when it's revealed to you. We also saw that there were some things with buy stations that were actually changed. Again, don't know if this was just because it was Vanguard Royale, Vanguard Resurgence, but the UAV was now actually 6,000 as opposed to the 4,000 that it was beforehand. I mentioned earlier in the video that at times I was like, we actually came away with a lot of stuff, and we actually didn't come away with as much as we would have, even though we had a stockpiling of money because we didn't buy a loadout drop before the first loadout came in. So that's definitely something that could shake up a little bit of the sort of utility meta. I'm curious to see how that all works out, especially if we end up now having that ability for 3 UAVs to create a true advanced UAV and show ghosted players. That was a stealth update that happened a little bit ago, but then outside of that, we see some changes with the Gulag that I definitely noticed here. It's of course now a brand new Gulag set inside the volcano excavation site as it looks like, and honestly, I kind of like this one off the first few engagements. Not only one do I think it looks really cool as a setting, but also it's incredibly small and incredibly bright by comparison to some others that we've had. And also, if you end up winning, just like Iron Trials, whatever you fought with, that's what you come out of the Gulag with. So for me, the one of 2 Gulags that I ended up winning, I came out with an MP40 and I think it was like a throwing knife or something like that. So I actually didn't have a terrible head start whenever I jumped in. Granted, it was later on in the match and everybody else was fully kitted, and I unfortunately landed right by a bunch of people, so it didn't really help me out a ton, but it is something that gives you at least a nice little head start as opposed to a pistol. Now, outside of that, my overall thoughts here, kind of closing statements, I guess, is that I've said it before, I'm just incredibly happy that we finally have a new map, a new world to learn. There's something about this learning curve that comes with new things like weaponry in terms of an integration or a brand new map that is just incredibly fun to learn the intricacies of and start to find that skill gap where if you know these certain jump spots, these certain flank routes, or some cool things that you only learn from playing so much, as that person that takes the time to learn that, it's incredibly satisfying to put all that into motion. So I'm incredibly excited to just have something new to learn, if that makes sense. The map itself, I think, honestly looks gorgeous. In terms of scaling, again, it felt, I think, a little bit bigger than Verdansk, even though it is relatively the same size. I just think that each of the points of interest have a decent amount of things around them that just kind of make them seem more grand scale, something busier than necessarily just a downtown area or something like that with a lot of open space in between. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, I'm saying, but it just kind of makes that illusion of feeling bigger in terms of the world. So I'm cool with that. Overall, I love that it's vibrant and bright. There's not many places where I'm going to be too worried about, say, the rose skins of the past where people just hid in shadows. There are some places, yes, that can happen, but the overall majority doesn't seem like it. Also, I love the fact that it's no ugly orange or yellow hue to the map itself. It's just like Rebirth, just bright, vibrant. Love that. Overall, I'm optimistic about Caldera. Whether or not I feel that same way a month or two down the line, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I haven't quite played it, of course, in a full public manner, just like you, but having played a couple of games with other creators, it's promising. I'm very excited to see what this next year holds here, and I'm liking what we have so far. So that's it. That's where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you think here of this? Are you looking forward to Caldera? Or are you looking forward to a brand new world to explore? And, of course, all these changes that come along with it. Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. And, of course, if you are new to the channel, you're excited for more Warzone content, we have so much stuff here coming alongside Vanguard content as well. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. But thanks so much for watching. Modest Espresso. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you in Caldera in just a little bit. Take care, and peace.